Oh, Chanka.
I'm gonna go to
All
Facebook
right.
real fast.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see something real quick. All right, bet.
Where's Rob?
How's y'all day going? Did y'all have a good day today?
Yeah, today was every other day in the life of.
Yeah, man. We got some topics. We got the Lord just keep blessing us. The content guys just keep blessing us. We got all kind of stuff that we could talk about. And you ain't see the Kanye West interview, huh?
Uh-uh, not yet.
Hey, yeah, the Kanye West. You need to watch the Kanye West interview in full. Man, we got the Kanye West. We got Marvin Sapp. Did you hear Marvin Sapp's response?
Now I didn't hear the response, but I saw the post. Mm.
You ain't hear Marvin. We got the Sauce Walker situation. We're gonna cover that too. We're gonna cover Sauce. We're gonna talk about Sauce. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Because we got so much to get into. So we just gonna get right into it. Kanye West. I know where you at, Grizzly. Is he there? I don't know if he there yet. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. You on Facebook? I don't see it nowhere else, but you on Facebook though. But yeah.
Yeah.
Where we at?
It looked like it's on YouTube too. You peeped it on
Okay.
YouTube?
No, I didn't even look at YouTube. My bad.
Yeah, YouTube is it's live streaming on YouTube. But I of course I go back and check that out. Kanye West. Is Kanye West crazy or is Kanye West exposing the industry? Is he crazy or is he exposing the industry? What do y'all think? And if you hadn't seen the interview, Miss T, then you probably have seen his rants on Twitter.
Hmm. I think it's both. I think would I go so far as to say he has a mental illness? I'm not quite too sure. I can't, diagnose anybody. But what I will say is, I believe that it is a mixture of both. I think like sometimes his ideologies seems like so far fetched and so unreal, and he does these sporadic acts of bewildering actions, and it causes one to think like, he's not wrapped too tight. But then once you get that schema in your mind, and once you've already developed how you feel about somebody mentally, I feel like that's an easy way for him to come in and infiltrate his ideas, real ideas that people kind of are like stuck in between. It's like, they pay him no mind because it's just crazy talk. But is it really crazy talk? And then you also have to understand too, we're on the outside looking in, like he's actually in the industry. Um, I think that he's at a point in his life right now to where he's just like inching more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And as he goes on these rants, I do believe that there's a lot of truth to it. My dad used to always say, even when you're telling a joke, there's some truth to the joke. You know what I mean? So we covered by the LOL or the ha ha ha. I'm just kidding. But part of that joke is based off of truth, and so I think that part of his crazy is based off of truth. And also, you can be involved in something for so long to where it mentally like changes your mindset and perspective of stuff. So, like I said, I didn't see the interview lately, but I have been following his rants. That's the thing. They call them rants, but are they really rants? We look at it like that because we've already formed a ideology about him. But I do think it's a mixture of both. I do.
I think I don't know if he exposing the industry. I think he just validating what a lot of us knew already. And I think it's a lot of questionable shit that transpired. You feel me? Especially with the Diddy situation, that it's kind of telling. And I think he's just kind of validating a lot of thoughts that we've had over the years about questionable practices and behind the scenes dealings when it comes to the entertainment industry, specifically the music industry. I think he just kind of like I think he just kind of like validating it for us a little bit. I don't think he crazy. I don't think he crazy at all. I just think that I do. I think he went crazy at a point. Yeah, I think because clearly a lot of those entertainers go crazy. You can see the pressure on them. Some of our favorite entertainers, if you look at them when you see them on these award shows and out in public, they look a little crazy. They all look a little wore down and tired a little bit, if you ask me. You feel what I'm saying? I think they all kind of going through some things. I think they all trying to. I think they all kind of like it's a lot. It's a lot of burden on it. I think it's a lot of backdoor deal with the devil things that went on. I think Kanye made a deal. He reneged on it. They chastised him for it majorly. They chastised him, and now he back exposing what they did to him. I just think it's. I don't think it's crazy though. But I also think the truth he telling. It's kind of like when me and you, when me and you, like it's kind of like with the Doge situation with they saying, hey, the Democrats doing X, Y, and Z. You feel what I'm saying? And niggas are saying, man, we don't believe that. We ain't like the truth don't matter in this day and age. The narrative matter more than the truth. Like so, if that's the narrative they get, you feel what I'm saying? But ultimately, I think bro made that deal. I think he made that deal. I think it's no question. He made a deal. He reneged on it, and they chastised him, and they really put the heat. They probably put the heat on his ass, and he went crazy. And now it's like he trying to renege back on that deal, and now he after he recovered, now it's like I'm finna expose everything y'all doing. But to me, it's not exposing nothing. It's just kind of validating what you knew. This typical entertainment shit. I just think that I know people be like, man, you shouldn't say that entertainers don't make it so far unless they sell their soul. But I really think, when it comes to music, I think that shit pretty much I think it's a given at this point. You feel what I'm saying? And he was one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't take the accountability away from him. Clearly, he was one of the people that made the deal, and then he reneged on it. And it's a lot of people who made the deal. A lot of people argue that Diddy did something, made a deal, probably reneged on it. Got too big for his britches, and now he's in a position right now where he's gonna pay dearly, or he in a fight for his life. So I think all them entertainment niggas is compromised. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think most of them is like 95% of them compromised. So uh, I was having this conversation with Rob J the other day. Rob J was like, "Man, I think he full of shit." I was like, I want to debate you on that. You feel me? Because I think he did it. He indulged in that to get that money, and now it's like, oh yeah, after I indulge, I want to push back. Y'all chastise me for it now for an exposure. I think you will see a couple of more people go through this over the years too.
Hey man, that man full of shit, man. You
Hey,
know it,
this
bro.
kind of like, hey, this kind of like a movie. Like as soon as he called your name, you just popped up. You know, what I'm saying you didn't float it on in here, so you can tell us why you think that. Because you did
Hey
say
man,
this.
he full of
Why
shit,
you think?
man.
Why? Why you think that?
Man, because he only get mad when it's affecting him. He never get mad at no. He never get mad at a social issue that affects people. He only get mad at stuff that affects him, man. This dude is the biggest fake revolutionary for profit we ever seen. He right up there with Umar. I mean, imagine, bro. Imagine like James Brown complaining about the stuff he complaining about. Like, imagine Michael. Like, man, this dude is a sucker, man.
I don't think he's trying to be a revolutionary though. See that's your perspective about him. I don't think he's trying to be a revolutionary. Do
Maybe he ain't, but I mean, he be trying to turn his
See,
problems into our problems.
I don't think he's trying to be a revolutionary either. I think it's an expose. You know, how many times have you had a belief in something and you thought something was, you know, Santa Claus, for instance, you know, little kid hopes and dreams is crushed when they find out Santa Claus is fake. Whenever you program someone to put so much faith in something and it's shattered, I think there's disappointment. I think there is anger. I think he achieved, like he wants to go to the top. All these entertainers, they want to get up to the top. And then when they pull the curtain back, you know, they see, wait a minute, this ain't the Wizard of Oz isn't a mystic character. He's a scammer. Like, it's the same thing as like think about the Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz, he's gonna change our lives. He's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. But then we find out he's a scammer. That's what I think you're seeing in Kanye. And I think that he's exposing the powers that be. I mean, again, he said when he wears the swastika, he's saying, I'm wearing their pain, but they're making money off of ours. And that's very true. I'm gonna say something that's gonna get controversial. I'm the king of controversial statements and uncomfortable conversations, but the Holocaust is a tragedy. The swastika represents that. But we suffered a Holocaust in this country as Black people, and they're consistently making money off of that tragedy. When you think about drill music, when you think about the rap industry, when you think about all the perversion that is exported from Black people that a group makes money off of, I think that's the biggest part of the expose to me personally.
And then
That wasn't
also,
that wasn't controversial.
but then you
Now
also
go
have
ahead,
to,
Tracy.
what I was gonna say was you have to understand that. So based on what you just said, Drew, I almost called you the A word, ANDY. Um, I was thinking about this yesterday. We don't even okay. So based on the last thing that you said, like they are the proprietors of our identity. You know what I mean? So it's just it's like they make money off of us in so many ways, just like you said. But yet, our identity comes from people other than us. And I think that it just gets to a point to where your back is against the wall. I think that's the same thing for him. Like his back is against the wall. And then also and also what Courtney said, like you can't possibly think that you're going to be offered millions and millions and millions of money and you're going to be yourself. It's like the puppet and the puppeteer. It's like, hey, I'm the one that's the calling the shots. I'm the one that's doing this, and you're going to do what I'm telling you you're gonna act the way I'm telling you to act. I find it hard to believe that people get into the entertainment industry and that they could just do what they want to do when again the proprietor of the money, the fame, the identity, the rap game, everything that we identify ourselves with don't even come from us.
Hey, but Tracy, look, one thing about Drew and one thing about Courtney, they gotta live with their decisions, right? Now, me personally, right? Yeah, I ride with them. You know what I'm saying? I ride with the broskies, but I'm selfish. So when I went to the voting booth, I felt like there was more self-interest in voting for Kamala than voting for Trump. I ain't heard them say nothing that was wrong, but they gotta ride it out. They gotta ride out the Trump decision. So Trump decisions, you know what I'm saying, put Grizz in a situation where I didn't really want to leave this position as quick as I had to. He gotta ride it out. He can't come back and be like, Donald Trump is a racist. Nah, they gotta ride out their decisions. Why this Negro don't gotta ride out nothing? He ain't saying he ain't discovered nothing new. People been saying that about Ho. People been saying, but that ain't stop him from my big brother was Big's brother. No, he wasn't, nigga. That was your boss. That was your record label boss. That wasn't never your big brother. You made him that. Nobody stopped. Nobody told that man, hey, you should marry Kim Kardashian. That man decided to do that. You wanted to marry this man. That Kim Kardashian ain't never lied about who she was. That sex tape was Ray J was out, whatever it was. One thing about Kim Kardashian, say what you want about her, she an honest woman at the end of the day. You married that woman. Why we gotta save this nigga from himself? It ain't no other person on earth who expect that.
I don't think that. I think it's apples and oranges when we talking about voting. This is my personal opinion, but I accept the analogy. You know what I'm saying? I think it's cool. I want to say this. Okay, that's Jay-Z. But even let's talk about this. Hold on, y'all. I gotta take a pause, put my headphones in. My other headphone in. Y'all give me 1 second.
Oh, I felt that with your chest, Rob J.
Can y'all hear me?
I mentioned, man. I don't like how this dude deceiving my friends, man.
No, no, but no, but check this out. Okay, I don't think someone who gets into the industry, right, is thinking that they got to go to a freak off party and get piped in their rear end to get on. I think when your initial idea of getting into the industry is, I'm going to make my art, I'm going to be able to present it to the world, and I'm going to make some money. I'll probably get some fame. I'll get girls. You probably have a little topical things, and I'll be able to change the world to some degree. I think people like Kanye and other artists like that thought that. So yeah,
How?
he may have issue. He may have issue with Jay-Z, but I think it's the part of the issue is the powers that be and how they can control what you do. Nobody think Most artists don't believe that they're going to get into the industry and be controlled. A lot of artists didn't feel, and I think that's what he's going against. We're not saving Kanye West from fucking around with Kim. I don't care about the Jay-Z thing. I think the biggest issue that even when he wears the KKK, people tripping about that. Oh, I'll never listen to somebody who wears the KKK uniform. Like, y'all got to see what he's doing symbolically and what he's saying. Everybody's caught up in the little rants. I think, what is his overall theme? His overall theme is, hey, y'all, okay, listen to when he talks about the Kendrick and Drake shit. That makes a lot of sense. It's like, y'all, we on the same squad, but look how they got us kind of going against each other for this reason. Like, we're not picking up. Okay, like the lady said on TikTok yesterday, he's talking in riddles. Jesus taught in parables. He's teaching in riddles. You got to get the riddle. Everybody's caught up in the little piece, just a little piece of the KKK uniform, the swastika. Everybody's caught up in the Kim Kardashian. Hey, dog, I'm not wifing no chick that shoots porn. So we don't care about your Kanye. We don't care about your Kim shit. Hey, Jay-Z, the nigga was a drug dealer. So he started his career off dishonest. Like, if you fall in line with people like that, that's on you. I think the overall theme of what he's discussing is what we all need to be paying attention to. That's it. Everything else, I could care less about that. Yeah, you shouldn't have put a baby
Okay,
in
so
Kim.
like flush out the bath water, and what is the baby and what he's discussing that we should be paying attention to?
I think the baby is the underlying issue since we've been here in this country is that we are slaves still. I think that's been his whole entire theme is that we are still in some form of slavery. We went from chattel slavery to a deep mental slavery. We don't own anything. We have an export of culture. Everyone is taking the culture from us, and we're really being replaced. Dog, I listened to this white girl today. I'm gonna send y'all in the group chat. She got an album that's dope. It's a front to back, and she sing like a sister, and she white. They don't even need us to entertain anymore. They don't even have to. They got other people that aren't black that can make black entertainment. They have other people that you have people in Korea and Japan doing some form of drill music. Like, we just exported culture, we exported labor, we've done all of that, and they don't need, and we don't own anything. We're talking about from the hair care industry to the music industry to everything. We don't own nothing, dog.
All right,
And
so
that's what
let
he's
me ask you
saying.
this though. You as a black man whose father have a PhD, whose grandmother is a college graduate, who's been able to go to school. You've been able to go to school, immerse yourself. If you chose, if you didn't want to go to Worthing and you wanted to go to Bel Air, you could have went there. So you're comparing yourself to Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington, calling yourself a slave?
I think you viewing it wrong. I think
I'm just
I
saying.
think no no no
I'm
no.
just
That
saying,
boy
bro. That's
can't.
not fair.
I think you viewing it wrong. I'm not one to make excuses on why you can't do certain stuff as a black person and what we can't. I think sky's the limit to an extent. I think sky's the limit to an extent, and I think the extent is is more psychological than we are put in boxes because at the end of the day, it's still shit you can't say. You really don't have free speech in the way that you got it. You really don't have freedom in the way if I go buy a house tomorrow, then I pay it off. I still got property taxes and I still got um HOA fees and all kind of restrictions. Like the world as a whole is a bit is a bit of an enslavement, you know what I'm saying? And I get what he's saying. I think the thing with Kanye is, I think at some point we gotta chastise the music industry. The Breakfast Club one time let Leo Cohen come there and tell you that he promote black violent music because it pays his bills. They let him say that, and nobody really checked him. I think at the end of the day, the puppet master is kind of being exposed. I think we won't get the full grasp of it until the next celebrity do this. And to me, And if I had to pick who I think it'll be next, I think it's Justin Bieber because he look like he about to pop every time I see him. I think it's I think he keep going at Jay-Z and Beyonce because they gatekeepers. I honestly think that's what he's hitting at. And I think that Kendrick and Drake situation is tricky because it did look like a legit battle at first. Now it does look very shaky. It does look very coerced and kind of like they trying to get him out the way. And he did say something very interesting about that Drake situation. He said in about 5 years they're gonna take that song and then they going then when they done using Drake for what he can get the industry and make the money off of, they'll put him in jail and they'll base it off this song. How they doing Diddy? I wouldn't put it past him. So I think it's a lot of truth into him. I don't let my personal feelings about him override the truth. Like people say, you gotta watch who you take advice for. I completely understand, but if I'm trying to get rich, even a homeless nigga can tell me what not to do. So I can't not bro message. What it is he's I think he's the reason why we could never have a current leader in this era because all we gonna do is kind of like try to hold them to this certain standard that they gotta be a certain way and they gotta say it like this and walk it like this and they can't have no they gotta be this kind of perfect image of it and I don't think bro is trying to be a leader. I just think bro went through what he went through and is trying to expose it for what he's trying to expose it for. And I just think that's just what I take out of it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but I think it's a lot of to me, if he keeps talking, he gonna sooner or later he gonna say something even more damaging to other people, and I think that's probably what everybody nervous. Why it's probably why he might be in some type of danger because I know he's getting closer and closer to saying some wild shit, and I know who he getting closer to saying it by because that industry rap as a whole just looks very fake to me right now. It just looks like I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. It just looks like a bunch of compromised niggas right now. That's all it is, a bunch of compromised niggas, and you know that because these same niggas will be dancing with a nigga. It's like me on a live with y'all right now, and something happens to y'all that's unjust. I'ma stand up and be like, nah, that's him, that's not him. Every time something happens to one of their entertainment buddies and it's unjust, they just go quiet because that's because they compromise. And if they compromise, then they should be exposed because they leading the kids, they leading the people astray. But that's all I gotta say about that though.
I wanna say this too. You say we're not Booker T or W.E.B. Du Bois. We don't have that exact lineage to chattel slavery. I understand what you're saying, but I think in comparison to every other group in America that has advanced, we're still last. Like we need to talk about that. Yes, we can. Yes, I could have. First off, man, shout out to Worthing. I'm glad I went to Worthing. I don't know what you talking about. I'm glad that I'm a cult. I got one of the best alumni groups on the planet. Shout out to EE, what I'm saying, Ebony Worthing. But yes, there are places that I can have my kids go to. My kids have gotten each generations, we want them to get better, we want them to grow. I think collectively as a community, we have those opportunities. Yes, but where is the ownership? Where in the time that we've been in this country since we arrived in 1619 to 2025, where is the ownership that we really should have? That's what he's bringing up, and that's all I'm saying. If it becomes a conversation, we can have the conversation, and then we can actually go somewhere else. But I want to segue this into something because this is very important. I'm going to segue this since we're talking about violence in hip hop. I want to talk about this Sauce Walker shooting. I want to talk about Sauce Walker. I want to talk about the tragedy of rap, just how violent it is. This is the stuff that these people are making money off of. Yes, we are participating in it, but they have the avenues to support this. They have the avenue to and the money to promote this type of music. What do you think about that? Do you disagree with that? You don't think that the powers that be perpetuate violent music to
I, I think they perpetuate it, but I got a question I gotta ask all of y'all as parents, and I'm not a physical parent, but it mentored a lot of young people. What opportunity does any one of your children have that we didn't have? Since things have been so bad, I just want to hear from one of y'all. What opportunity does one of y'all kids have today that we didn't have?
Okay, well, in essence, they do. Okay, in essence, they have the same, just about the same opportunities that we had. Okay, but so what? But what? Where are you going with that?
Because I'm saying, like, when we start talking about all of this like hardship that we have and everything, I'm just like, tell me something new.
Hey, I grew up in the ghetto. My kids don't. My kids have not seen. Not only did I grow up in the ghetto, my family and friends, my circle was on the south side of Houston. I didn't have any other group. There was no mixed financial, socioeconomic group around me. Everything that I experienced. Now, yes, I had my father. I had other influences that helped. But just come on, dog. Like the generation that we came up in
The
at the
odds may
time,
have been
most of us,
immeasurable. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you didn't face measurable odds. You couldn't have tested in the
my
HSPVA.
kids don't. My huh?
You couldn't have went to HSPVA.
No, listen.
Yeah,
About from the womb. We're talking about from the womb. Kids coming out of the womb and what they have. My kids have not seen the ghetto from the womb to now. They live in, honestly, now by today's standards, allegedly somewhat of upper middle class. I disagree with that because I think well, I'll say real middle class. Real middle class is actually substantially more than what they're saying, but they have an income surrounding them that my cousin and I we didn't have at all. And listen, that's not we not shitting on our parents because we both came up in two-parent households and we had our parents with us and we grew up in the church and all of that. But what I'm telling you is our kids, and I can attest for her too, they have a different situation than what we came up in.
Hey, okay, maybe I don't want to make it super personable. Let me say this.
I think
What
we
what does this
represent the
generation what does this generation of black kids have an opportunity to that our generation didn't have? That's a better
technology.
question.
You said it the other day. You got kids, 12-year-olds that's making money off Roblox. We couldn't do that, nigga. How was we gonna get money in 1995? You were selling lemonade, like dog.
can I say that? Can I interject real quick? Okay,
Go ahead.
we have access to things, but we don't have access to wealth. The ideas that we had, first off, if you really want to go back in our black history, just about 80% of the things that we use came from the ideas of a black person. But we didn't have access to wealth. We couldn't really read. Things had to be patent. It cost money to do that. So anything that we tried to do to come up has been stripped. We don't have an identity. Our identity is connected with Western civilization. And we get whatever they want us to have. And if they don't want us to have it, we're not gonna get it. And so what happens is it's been masked by, oh, you can live where you want to live. You can shop where you want to shop. You can go to school where you want to go to school. You can wear what you want to wear. Things of that nature. Oh, you can get a better job. You can make this amount of money. So we feel like, oh, we've come on top. No, we have not. No, we have not. That's access to things. That's not access to wealth that's going to be generational. Because 9 times out of 10, when an African American dies, we got to raise money for the funeral. The people that passed away still got bills. We don't have that wealth train that allows us to continue and continue and continue and continue. And again, this is the reason why it's so easy for other cultures to come in and strip what we think is ours, but what we have came from Western civilization. It's come from Western culture. So what do we have? We don't even have an identity. The identity was given to us. Even rap, that was given to them. Hey, y'all already act like this, do this, let's make some money. When we done with you, we just gonna move on through the generations. If you go too far, we gonna get rid of you. And that's just it. That's just all. If you want this dangling carrot, then come on. If not, then you know what you can do. So I understand. Do we have the shackles on our feet? Not necessarily, but we have the shackles that allow us access to other things to where we can perpetuate, which goes back to what I said. We're not the proprietors of anything. So it's like if you only get what I give you, you can only advance as far as I let you. That's what he's trying to say. And I don't and each and every day that I wake up, that's proven. That is
I
proof.
That's fair.
if you're saying can we do it? Yes, I believe that nothing is stopping us from doing it, but that's where we get into the mental slavery part of it. Is that we collectively don't think we can. And yes, each individual family can move into a part of society in a sense to different classes, but the collective is much more stronger together, and we see that
Right. Okay.
the collective is much more stronger. So I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna pass the mic. Okay, let's talk about it. When you see the Indian community, when you see the Asian community, when you see the Jewish community, and you see how they can collectively operate, when you look at the banks that they have, the money that circulates, how they can go borrow the money in the capital to get the things going. Let's say we had an idea right now. What niggas we finna go to get some money? We
Street
can have a
niggas. We finna
man,
go street
hell
niggas.
nah. We don't. And you know what's sad is I think that's the only way we think we can get money is in the
Yeah.
streets.
Where do I think you would go get a $50,000 for your podcast? From a street nigga.
Nah, I think that shit is dead. I think the streets is dead too. Speaking of which, let's talk about this. I've said before that we have the most perverse culture in the world. I think that we have the most perverse culture in the world. I think that hip hop is one of the most perverse things on the planet. Sauce Walker, was just recently shot, and his artist Say So P was actually slain. Man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I think within the last 5 years, I've this is an insane amount of rappers to be shot at or ultimately unalive. Um, I think it's ridiculous. You got Cornell X on Fox 26 saying, we got to do better. Everybody's saying we got to do better. I don't think you're going to be able to do better when the content is bad. I mean, the content is all about violence. The content, they getting rich off talking about violence. I came up in a time where the rappers were fake. They acted like they was gangsters. They wasn't real gangsters. It was like CB4. And now these guys are really, converting street music, the streets to rap. So what do y'all think about what's y'all take on this on
I'm
this
like, where do we have to do better? They're like, that's what we've been doing. If I make records about me being the biggest, baddest, so and so, and I'm gonna do this to whoever tests me, and people test me and people die, where do we have to do better? I hate to like, I hate to Charleston Wright be wrong and then we be proving him right. But Charleston White, what he said, man, he's like, man, these dudes be earning their grade.
Well,
So it's
here's
like, I don't
I don't
know.
have a problem. I don't have a problem with Charleston White and what he said. Actually, I think Charleston White has a purpose. So, but go ahead, Miss T.
I feel like two things either need to happen. Either A, we need to denounce it and we quit listening to it. Or if you gonna go into the industry and we gonna rap, we not rapping about the streets. You gonna still give us a deal? Like there has to be, because again, we're not the proprietor of this. So it's like, okay, I tell you what, we gotta find a loophole. And the loophole is either A, we not gonna support it, if that's what you're talking about. Or I tell you what, you want to sign me on as an artist? I don't want to rap nothing street because that's where our identity is. That's poisonous, and it's just that now that's generational. This hip hop poison going on and on and on and on and on. So it's like though one of those two things has to happen. We either not denounce it or we just gonna rap about something else. But it's almost like we far in too deep. I feel like
Hey, but you ain't never heard, I've never heard about a Lupe Fiasco getting his chain snatched. Never heard about a Kanye getting shot at. Never heard about a Common getting robbed. Never heard about a EP. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even within rap culture, it's like, it's only the rappers who put out the energy that get it in response. I ain't never heard of Nick Cannon getting stole on. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never heard of Will Smith getting, somebody robbing him. So it's a certain energy, it's a certain demon that like we be harnessing intentionally. So it's like, is that a rap thing? Like nobody stuck a gun in your head, you know what I'm saying, and made you do it. Like, the late great Dick Gregory said, man, I know women that have started that before they sell coochie. It's like nobody's forcing us to, to, whore out our pain like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wait, hold on. Now let's be real. Let's be real. Let's say you can rap really well and you can take your life and convert it into music. And the content is based off of everything that you've seen and been involved with, and it's explicit. And somebody come along and say, "Here's a $2 million deal for you to keep rapping like that." We say this shit like, "Oh, nobody's forcing you, nigga." How many people didn't have $2 million offered to them like that? Who wouldn't take that deal? It's being pushed on us. It's being pushed towards us to do that. You
well,
know
I
what
got
I'm
a $1 million
saying?
question for you then. Why you ain't do it? You from South Park or you from Sunnyside? You went to Worth. Why you ain't do it? Why you ain't rap about killing niggas? Why you ain't rap about busting your gun?
Because where I'm from, we pride ourselves on being real. That ain't what I'm doing. I was talking about macking and fucking with the hoes. And guess what? That was still bad. That still had
Okay,
a bad result. And
but
I can get on
you
here.
still had a moral compass.
Right,
You had a moral compass. That's why you ain't do it.
right. No, I can agree with you on that.
That
I
was my only
mean,
point.
no. I mean, well, some okay. I didn't have a. I had a moral compass to not rap about that. But one could still argue the content that I did rap about is bad. I can admit that. It's still I'm not pushing nothing positive when I'm talking about having several different women all the while I had a woman. I was married. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. I can actually get up and denounce what I was doing. I could say I denounced that. Even though the music is still out, I still think it jam. We were just playing it when we came on. You know what I'm saying? I'm still getting some streaming money off of it. It's at the end of the day when we realize that something is detrimental. Okay, let me give you a prime example. I'm glad you brought up me and what I do. We talked about the marriage rate being 31%. The marriage rate is 31%. And we're gonna be talking about that this Friday. We got some special guests coming on. I'm gonna confirm it, but I'm glad they're coming. The marriage rate is 31%. I talk about perversion. I talk about how women are, smutting themselves out on records. What was I talking about? I was talking about that. I was talking about getting high, uh, having several different women. I was actually living that life. I'm going to the studio. I got, my woman and a girlfriend. Now, how can I talk about the marriage rate being 31%? How can I talk about solution if I'm living that lifestyle? I gotta denounce that. I gotta say that ain't cool. Maybe I don't got the content to make no cool music somebody want to listen to. So you know what I'm doing? I'm making podcast content because now I've elevated to doing that. That's what matters. And I think that we have to collectively look at the rap and say, we want the gun violence to stop. We want the violence to stop, but we're listening and promoting music that perpetuates that. So it's just
Hey,
like me.
you
If
still
I want
never
to,
made music about killing another black person. You might say what you did was right, wrong, or different. It never came out of your mouth that I'm gonna celebrate violence in my community and killing black people. You made a conscious decision.
but we not. It's not. But we're talking about what's morally right. It's not
I
even
think
about what I'm. We're not. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. This.
I think that's because that probably just wasn't on his menu, Rob. That wasn't on his menu. I think the dangerous part about it ain't so much about rapping and killing. I think they monopolized the game, and you're right. Uh, they led the way, but they kind of monopolized the game, and now it's not so much about you rapping about it. It's the part where you've put you. It's about who's rapping about it. You feel what I'm saying? You let the worst of the worst come into rap, and you gave them money. So now the worst of the worst now transition into rap, and now they make it to where rap used to be an escape from the streets. You feel me? Rap, I could be in the streets, and I could start rapping, and now I'm out of the streets, and now I'm out of the streets making legal money. Now if you're a street dude and you start rapping, you just become a bigger target for the streets. You feel what I'm saying? You become a bigger target for whoever was after you. Usually, this was 20, 25 years ago. I'm hot on the southwest side of Houston and I blow up. I'll see y'all later. Now, I'm hotter on the southwest side of Houston. I'll see y'all later. They'll catch up with me in New York. They just pretty much set the trap and we fell in it. You feel what I'm saying? The bad part about it is it's almost like when a woman be like, man, these niggas ain't they ain't shit. And we be like, man, you gotta stop fucking with them niggas. And that woman to be like, you need to tell them niggas to do better, become better men. And we like, that's kind of like with this situation right now. With this, like, man, we how we gonna tell a killer to become a better man? Somebody that just want to hurt somebody a better man? That they already cooked. Now, how can we stop their voice from being so loud? You feel what I'm saying? And the situation, you feel what I'm saying? And I'm one of them people that not 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because my feet completely out. But I can never get in front of y'all or in the camera and say that I'm above violence. I'm not, bro. I'm always on deck. Like I'm always on deck because in my mind it's always about to go down. So I'm not gonna lie and tell you I'm above any violence because at any moment shit can get active and I'm gonna be a willing participant. So I'm not even gonna get on here in front. But what I will say is I would never get in front of a camera and perpetuate it though, because I know the horror in it. I know the thing is, you have the worst of the worst characters. Like the lady said, we got our degenerates in the front row repping for us. You know what I'm saying? Usually, back in the day, I don't think that it was rappers was fake. I think dudes was like that too. You just didn't have the killer rapping on the microphone. You didn't give the prostitute back in the '90s. You heard Lil Kim rap about sexual stuff, but Lil Kim was just a young lady running with some older dudes and talking crazy. Now you got actual whores with sex tapes rapping about it. You feel what I'm saying? You got a young lady who talk disgusting, look disgusting, act disgusting. And what we do, we cheer it on. We champion her. We champion her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like a 33 and a third. It's 33 and a third. It's like we give them 33 and a third because they promoting that shit. 30 and a third because we listening to that shit. 33 and a third to the fucking motherfuckers that's putting it out there. You feel what I'm saying? At some point though, at some point though, I should be able to get up in front of a bunch of black people and say, "Hey man, that shit is dead wrong. Let's stop that shit. It's bullshit." And I get no pushback. But if you did that today, you're gonna get pushback. You feel what I'm saying? Because we're in a world and we're in a culture and we're in a community that accepts all ideology. That's just it. At the end of the day, black people just accept anything. We accept any and everything. So that's why it's so easy for us to somebody like that, for the predators to come out and be front row and get rich off of this degeneracy because we accept it all. Like we accept it all. And that's when I kind of switched to that political avenue because we got that. We'll just accept anything. We're accepting prostitutes rapping and we support them and make a millionaire. We support we promote just random violence. Not even dudes who out here probably slanging iron in their own defense or for their betterment. We out here supporting just random violence. You feel what I'm saying? We out here supporting fucking politicians that just do and say anything. Content creator politicians. We out here accepting entertainers that just clearly selling us a bad lifestyle, telling you to be single. And so I just think at the end of the day, I would more or less just blame our community for being so weak with no standards and boundaries and no leadership because we accept anything because the Chinese ain't gonna let the worst of the worst. The Chinese mafia, I'm sure, is like huge and they powerful. Chinese people ain't finna champion in the worst shooter of the Shanghai gang. You feel me? The Shanghai, the dude with the most bodies in Shanghai ain't finna drop a rap album and a bunch of Chinese people in a front row champion him. The Jewish people ain't finna get the worst Jewish dude in their community who done shot 3 people and champion him. You know what I'm saying? The Mexican people ain't finna get the sluttiest Mexican woman and the dirtiest looking Mexican woman and make her rich just because she's a Mexican woman.
Hey, now the
But the
Mexicans,
black
hey,
people
hold on.
will
Now the
though.
Mexicans will promote that MS-13 shit. I was with you up until you said the Mexicans.
I
Like
I,
the
I, don't-
Mexicans,
know
they
I
pretty
don't know no
ignorant too. The
famous
Mexicans
rappers though.
ignorant as hell, like just like us.
Yeah, but I don't
Hey
know no
man,
famous rappers though from there.
MS-13 is El Salvador, dog. That ain't
Yeah, yeah,
even
yeah,
that
yeah.
ain't even Mexicans. We can't even put that on them. But I hear he was trying. I see where he
We
was
about to
going
start
with
a
that,
war. We're
dog.
about to start a
You
war.
might
This
you about to
motherfucker.
get us up out of here, dog. We ain't even trying to have
I'm
that
saying
kind of
them
smoke.
them Norteños, nigga, hey, nigga, they sell a lot of records in that Mexican
but
community,
but
bro.
but, but I just think ultimately that acceptance of everything is like literally. you'll be like, man, that shit trash. And then somebody will come out and come at you will be like, nah, bro. Somebody will come at you for that. You feel me? And that, Rob, when you were saying what opportunities we don't have and what's the difference, that's something that we can control, that we allow to run rapid because we don't just shut it out. You ain't just seeing we don't see the worst of the worst of any of those coaches representing frontlining for that culture. You feel me? We don't. I don't know who's the worst shooter in from the Asian community or the Swedish community. I don't know the worst guy from the Irish community, but I bet you they could come out and tell you who's the worst shooter rapper from our community. And I think that's where we fucked it, bro.
We support everything but each other. Okay, that's number one. And then the second thing is you also have to understand where do you think we learn to be savages from? Hmm? Let that simmer, and we can come back to that. And I'm gonna bring it back to the identity thing. When you talked about different cultures and different ethnicities, how you don't see certain things. So yeah, you have different cultures, different ethnicities. They've come to the United States, but they've identified a culture where it's almost like landlocked. So of course you're not going to see that because that's not how they identify themselves. We don't have an identity. And that goes back to what I said. Where do you think we learn to be savages from? But yet, just like there's light and there's dark, there's day and there's night, we're just looked at as the entity that's doing all the wrong. I'm gonna give you an example. Have you seen the movie Wicked? Okay. My niece wanted to go see Wicked when Wicked first came out. So fast forward, we went to go see Wicked. We saw it because she wanted to see it. Okay. Take rap out of it. Even in the musical, the person who played Wicked was the black girl. She was the nicest person. She was the one of the most courteous people. She liked to help people. She really minded her own business. And she got done so wrong to where when she finally retaliated, oh, now she's wicked. And it was the black person playing wicked. And of course, you have another character who's not so wicked, who's doing things to her, or the people around her doing things to her to make her act a certain way. So, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you take rap out, it's even in musicals. We have just been labeled. Period. We've been labeled.
I will say this about Wicked though, if I'm not mistaken. I think that is originally a role for somebody white because that's about. Isn't that the witch of that's in the Wizard of Oz? Isn't that her? That's how she becomes bad.
Apparently so. So you mean there was no one to play that part?
Well, this is the DEI of Hollywood now. They're taking a lot of these roles that were white and they're remaking them black. That's a whole nother can of worms. And I'm actually kind of against that. But I see I'm gonna let you cook.
So why do we have a negative character? Because we've been labeled. We've been labeled so far, so much and so hard until we can't see past that. And let's take it back to the rap game. The perpetuation of rappers fighting against each other. We do that as a community. Like where's the positive light at? Like where is it? Like where is the light at the end of the tunnel? I don't necessarily well, I thought I saw it, but it's getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer.
Speaking of how we do each other, I kind of want to talk about this young Scooter situation. I don't know all the details, but it seems like did he was he falsely accused? Was the cops called and falsely? It was
It,
like what
it,
happened? This
it almost seemed like it was a swatting situation. You know, when people swat somebody and they call the cops to it. Like, if I got a problem with you, and I know you stay at 7533 Blue Way Drive, and I call and say, hey, somebody's getting kidnapped at 7325 Blue Way Drive. It's a man there with a beard, and he taking a woman. And then the cops show up and the SWAT show up to your door, and nothing happened. I think that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like.
But
And
I heard he got killed, but it wasn't no bullets in him.
nah, now they saying today they said he got shot.
Oh, for
Today
real?
they
Okay,
said he
I
got
didn't get the
shot. We
update.
if they shot that man and lied about it, boy, it's about to be some shit, and it should be some shit because that whole jump the gate and he tore he ripped. I was like, bro's like, man, that shit might happen every blue moon. So it's a lot of what ifs. But if that lady falsely accused, like they saying she did, boy, you gotta put her under the jail because that man lost his life. So long story short, like I they said today they were saying he got shot. I'm sure in the coming days it'll come out. If they shot that man, boy, we finna it's gonna be some shit, bro. It's
Hey,
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
some
just say
shit.
real talk, just legacy wise. To me, you don't have a Quavo, you don't have a New Atlanta without Street Lottery, man. Like
Hmm.
that dude really ushered in a new sound. He
Hmm.
ushered in, you know what I'm saying, what a mixtape, what we now know to be a mixtape as far as the stuff that he was doing with I forget his name, but man, uh man, Lord, give me his brother's name real quick, man. It was but just that street radio, just and like just that narrated mixtape, and it wasn't drama, you know what I'm saying, and nothing like that. Like, and I mean, that dude was a special artist, man. Like, he didn't necessarily get his just due, but he really meant something to the culture.
Hmm. Hmm. RP to him, bro. 'Cause it's just like, God damn, it's like you can't you just can't win for losing sometimes, bro. Like you can't win for losing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Like,
influence a role in the creation of future.
yeah, in a very major part of that. You feel me? Quote unquote. They say Future that was his birthday. He died on. The Future had supposedly bought him a 2025 Maybach truck that he probably never get to drive. So RP that man, he had kids. It's like, God damn, bro.
Hey man, Marvin Sapp. Marvin. I made first off, I'm gonna say this. Rob Gillette made a post, and I actually made a comment on it because it's kin to something I had said previously that I feel that the black exodus from church was one of the worst things that happened to our culture. The black exodus from church is one of the worst things that happened to our culture. But when we think about why many of us have left, we think about things like this. So everybody knows what happened with Marvin Sapp as far as him being in the congregation. And let's just be correct. He didn't say lock the doors. He said shut the doors. In context, I really don't know what's the big difference, but he didn't say lock the doors. He said shut the doors. And he was basically shaking his congregation down for some money, for tithes. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about Marvin Sapp and is asking collectively for $40,000? And I don't think he necessarily asked for 40,000. I want to be real. First off, I think everything he did was egregious, but it's not as it's not as harsh as we think it is. But I do think it's egregious. What do y'all think about that?
It's only egregious because in our community, we allow the pastor to be the only one who has faith. See, I never understand a black woman or a black man, but I've seen it more with our sisters who have low confidence and go to church. I'm like, you tithe to a man who anything he believes he wants to do, he can do, and you're sorry you don't believe in yourself, but you give to a man that says we need a new building, we need $7 million, we're gonna raise 100, and you give to him blindly. I think the problem is we act like the pastor or the church leader is the only one allowed to have faith. We all should be walking around like that. We all should be like, hey, my kid is going to whatever school, shut the doors. You know what I'm saying? We not leaving until we ready, but we don't. The problem is we think only the pastor can do that, in my opinion, you know. So it is weird.
Well, hold on. Let me. I love when we talk about church. Okay. Here's the thing. There are a lot of people that go to church with varying levels of faith. Whether it's a little bit mustard seed, whether it's a whole lot. Okay. That's number one. Um, the second thing is this. The Bible says to bring all ye tithes to the storehouse. So here's the principle. Here's the principle. We're giving because God says so. So, but theoretically speaking, is God standing there taking the tithes personally? No, he is not. We are following a biblical command or a biblical instruction to bring those tithes. Now, it is the leader's responsibility to disperse those tithes where need be. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something else. So we grew up at St. John Missionary Baptist Church, 2702 Darling. Okay, and people did bring their money to the storehouse. They did a lot of stuff for the youth. They even had the M.M. Malone scholarship program. Like, it depends on the church and it depends on who you have that oversees the financial budget. But here's the thing: ministers have to give beyond getting rich. Your main objective should be going to preach the word. That's your objective. But we have allowed the ways of the world to come in to make us think that we don't have to have no $2.5 million building to go praise God. I can go outside and sit on my grass and get the people down the street, and we can sit on the sidewalk and read our Bibles and praise him. But I do understand that we do have to have a temple. But then, again, like I said, we have wants and desires mingled in with what God expectations are, and that's the poison. That is the poison. So, are we giving it to a man physically? Yeah, we are. They're not robots taking up the offering. Okay. These are human beings. But at the end of the day, the Bible tells us that we should bring our tithes to the storehouse so that there'll be plenty for people who need it. And there are a lot of churches that do right by the money. There really are. But we don't see that. We don't see the negativity. Here we go. We don't see that. We see the stuff that Marvin Sapp does and things of that nature. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I grew up in a Baptist church. I think he's wrong. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong for because first off, the Bible says that, well, in the Old Testament, you were to give 10% of whatever your earnings are. So let's just say we went by that biblical principle. Okay. What if I only make $9 an hour? I don't have $200 to give you. That oversees my 10%. I don't have it. So to sit up there and tell somebody I need 30 from you, I need 100 from you, see, that's when it gets murky or wonky, shall I say. It's a
Hey,
difference.
I was gonna ask you, at what point did it become wrong? Was it when he told the ushers to shut the doors?
All of
When he gave the specific amounts? When he counted the amount of people? When did it become wrong?
all of it was wrong. All of it was wrong. The delivery was wrong. The way you came to the congregation was wrong. How you talked to the people was wrong. All of that is wrong. I'm gonna tell you something else, and I've had this discussion with Boy Drew once before. When it comes to us giving money, a lot of times, especially in the black church, we are not trusting of it because we don't even see where the money go. You telling us that we doing it for this fun, but we ain't seen nothing in 2 years. I'm gonna tell you what St. John used to do. St. John used to every year we used to come together as a church and they showed us the budget. We knew how much money people made. We knew where money was going. So when people were giving, we were able to see the outcome of the money we were giving. So people didn't mind. That's what sustains the church. We didn't have
Uh,
those church decided to come together and do something for the pastor that's different, like church anniversary. I've gone to different church anniversaries where the people collectively come together and they give pastor offering. Pastor may not know how much that offering is. But when you get to the point to when you start mandating that people give a certain dollar amount to fulfill your fantasy that's not in line with God's will, that's a problem for me. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Had that been me, you're gonna let me up out of here. Whether it's change the door, lock the doors. This is not Joe Clark. Okay. This is not what this was. But I feel like people now, we just giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. We don't see nothing put back in the church. We see you driving Maseratis. We see you in a $2 million homes. We see you with all these jets. And black people aren't the only ones doing it. Let me say that. Black people aren't the only ones doing. But you know what black people don't do? We don't put enough into to where everybody can see where the money is going. Other people do that. They may have the same stuff, but you at least see where the money is going. You see it. We don't see that. Everything that he did was wrong. You cannot pay me enough to believe that God put that on that man's heart like that to go to them people like that.
I'm gonna be real with you. I was raised in the church too, the same church my entire life. Anytime people start talking about the misappropriation of funds and all that, I never seen it. I seen us have a church meeting before, and we come up short on time. If the church needs something, the pastor say, "Hey, I'm gonna just take, I'm gonna take a, I'm gonna take a pay cut for the next 4 months, so we could use that money to fix our stuff because our pastor had a long career. I think it was that Mrs. Bears and he had retired. So I don't come from there. I don't come from the big church, so I never seen that up close. I I just would never be a part of it. You feel what I'm saying? But I just think that church is very political now. It's very political. Um, I think it's very kind of it's like coercion almost what he was doing with that. Um, I don't know, dog. Like I don't know, dog. It's not shocking though. It's not shocking. It's not shocking. You feel what I'm saying? But I just never seen it up close. I've never seen no pastor do that. My pastor, but both my pastors that I've had over the years for other stuff, and I literally watched him give money back to the church. You feel what I'm saying? Now my church has got like new stuff now because I went a while without going to my home church and it's like remodeled. But that aspect of somebody, I just don't even know that life. I just know that on TV, dog. That's something I can never be a part of. Um, I do think that a lot of times it'd be a little bit too much praising a pastor when I see them dudes. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a little bit too much praising the pastor more than God, it seems like in a lot of them situations. It do seem like that though. It do seem like that. And I think once you get to that point, I think you lost, and I think you might need to find you another home. That shit he did, whether he meant it that way or not, it did look bad. But then again, what bro at where's bro the pastor in Atlanta somewhere? If that's it, that just kind of takes the cake because we know how they get on. You feel what I'm saying?
And refresh my memory. What did he need the money for now?
Well, shit, we don't know. Listen,
That
um,
that
hey, like we talked about this. Shout out to Dr. Cool Mike. We talked about this on Brothers Talking Shit podcast, where we talked about some scripture. First off, let's say this. This is true. God loves a chill forgiver. You give because you want to. There's nothing in the Bible where God's forcing you. Even accepting Jesus in your heart, that's something that you have to do because you want to do it. So that's the issue. That there lies the issue. I think when you start getting into these different doctrines, it becomes cult like. It becomes a cult. All these little different factions in these churches become like a cult where you have to give so much money, you have to give a certain amount of whatever. There's quite a few things that I don't really agree with different denominations because it just let's just be honest, I don't think it's scriptural. So I think that there lies the issue is that to sit up here and say that people have to give you a certain amount or you don't feel like you got a certain amount, the amount that you were supposed to receive, then boom, you have there's an issue all of a sudden. So he addressed it. He addressed it to a degree where he was clarifying certain things that he said because he got death threats. You know what I'm saying? The man got dead. He's saying he's getting death threats. He's people are threatening him. We live in the age of social media, so if it's a lot of negativity involved, people gonna come at your neck. But I just think it was egregious overall because it's not really it's man based. The Bible says the tradition of man make the word of no effect. I don't really think it's scriptural based at all. It's him saying that this is what he need, this is what he should get, blase, 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 blah. So I think that the black mass exodus from the church is terrible, but it's things like this that really to me solidify why people would say that they don't want to be in church anymore. So but Rob, you don't think that what he did was egregious, or you just kind of feel like, hey, You know, what do
Nah, he
y'all
was
expect?
egregious, man. Nah, that nigga, hey, man, that was foul as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was egregious, but I think it's egregious on our end, too, that we only allow him to be that bold. You know what I'm saying? We should all be that bold in our foolishness, you know. But, yeah, it was egregious for sure.
Be that bold to demand what we want. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, yeah, be that bold. See, I hated the fact that, man, it's a first lady birthday, and they holding an offering for her birthday. I say, hey man, it was my mama's birthday last Sunday. My mama got cancer. Why we ain't have my mama in here? My mama didn't pay $60 for these Yolanda Adams tickets. Then bought everything y'all done got. Why my mama ain't got none? It's her birthday. So I do think we have a. I think the problem is like not the faith, but the pedestalizing of the whoever can sing good and whoever preaches.
Well, did you go in front of the congregation and tell them that?
Nah, you man, them niggas will kill me. These niggas run me out of fountain of praise if I got up there and said that.
Why?
Hey, come on, man. Thou shalt not go against pastor. You know, that's the Negro commandment.
No, no, no. I'm saying to get in front of the church and let the church know what your need is. I'm
Oh,
not.
nah, I never tried that before.
Well, what's stopping you?
I mean, I'll be honest, I ain't ever really known it as an option.
Why not?
Because I mean it just ain't ever been presented as one.
It should. Hey, hey, hey. All I'm saying is we got to practice what we preach. So if that's the case, it start, it starts with one. So, and here's the thing: you've never felt comfortable in your church. You've never felt comfortable around believers enough to whether you stand before them or whether you go and talk to a ministry to let them know the things in which you are in need of. Like you've never felt that comfortable where you worship to where you feel like you can't do that. That's I feel like that's the problem. Now, I'm not saying go in front of the church because you want to get your hair and your nails done and you want to get an outfit to go to the club on Saturday. No, I'm not saying that. But if there's a dire need, you should feel comfortable in your church to present that. And especially if you go into the fountain of praise, I know they got money. I'm just saying. I don't mean it like that. But
Uh-oh, he trying to get us trying to put us in the pinch.
Now that's my mama church home, you know. I granted, maybe they do a lot. I don't know, you know, because a lot of times churches don't send a press release every time they do something good for people, you know. So to be fair, I just ain't like that, you know what I'm saying? First lady, I know that's Rob, Aunt, whatever. Hey man, my mama in there serving like a mug. Wow, you know what I'm saying? Why my mama ain't getting no, you know what I'm saying? No love. Granted, I'm not gonna compare my mama to being the wife of a pastor who gotta be here for this person, preside over this ministry, pray for this person. But I do think we got a problem with pastor praising in our community.
and and see now I'm gonna tell you something. I have a problem with this first lady contribution deal. Now we already do it for the pastor. So the first lady, she's married to the pastor, right? Is we clear on that, right? So they're both being recognized and they're both being given money and they both in the same household. Make that make sense.
I mean, come on now, I can't rock with you. That is a sacrifice. Your husband, because you're not getting your full husband if you married to a good pastor. Yo, that pastor, he at a hospital, he praying for this person every time it's an emergency. So you are sacrificing. I would think you sacrificing a part of your marriage being a first lady. I would think that. I might be wrong, you know.
They are, but you should know they're going in.
So you got to get paid for that?
That's what I'm saying. Like you
Y'all tough now.
you should know that going in. If you have solid biblical principles and you are married to a man whose sole purpose is to live out God's word, however that may be, visiting the sick and the shut in, going in the community, you have to know that that man is going to give some time. And the Bible said when a man and a woman are married, they become one. So what he got is hers. So why does she need a special recognition for? I don't know. I'm old. I told you we old school. 2702 Dowling Street, Houston, Texas. Okay, Third Ward. I've never seen that. This is something new. This is something new.
Nah, I ain't mad at you. Right.
Just preach the word. Like I feel like this. If it's too hard for you to keep your physical brick and mortar church open, go to the internet. This could be church right here. In fact, why don't everybody out there in TV land give us $20? We trying to raise $60,000 so I can get me a motherfucking Lincoln Town car, and I want to just go to the strip club too. I'm being funny, but I'm just saying, like, if it's that difficult for you to maintain having a brick and mortar church, you can now go to the internet, take donations, get you a live, and get some super chats. I just don't think. I don't know. I don't. There's something about people getting into the gospel industry outside of singing and making records and just accumulating all this money. Okay, I think we got one more thing we're gonna cover before we get out of here, man. We got one more thing. I want to talk about this cook with me challenge. Miss T, you brought the cook with me challenge up. I think this is gonna help us segue into other topics we're gonna talk about this week. But I don't even know about it's so many challenges nowadays that I didn't lost count. So tell me about this cook with me challenge.
Okay. Now, I don't have a problem with the cook for me. I mean, cook with me. I have a problem when it's sympathy connected to it. For instance, if I decide that I want to do a live on me cooking a pot of spaghetti, that's fine. Showing you my ingredients, showing you what I made, showing you the outcome, this, that, and the third. Okay, I get it. Whether it's strictly cooking or whether it's a part of entertainment. I have an issue, and I've been seeing this a lot. So some of these cook with me, I don't even call it a challenge now, but some of these cook with me is you may have a woman who may have 7, 8 kids. Okay, I saw this other day. It was a woman. She had 7, 8 kids. She was in a hotel or a motel. So you got 7 kids living in one space. She cooked some Roman noodles. Okay, she didn't have a stove, so she cooked it in a microwave. She had some Brussels sprouts. She, she called them cabbage. Okay, whatever. And she cooked those in the microwave. She had like 8 pieces of chicken and gave each kid a piece of chicken like this, a whole bunch of noodles, and 2 Brussels sprouts. Okay. And I'm seeing that, and so some of them will have like a tag down at the bottom where you can donate and this, that, and the third. And I always go to the comments. And the comments is, oh my goodness, I know what it feels like to be on hard times and this, that, and the third. I have a problem when we perpetuate that. Why? How did you get to a point to where you have 7 to 8 kids without a husband, and you're struggling, and now you want the community to come in and help? Now that's gonna sound like I'm being very demeaning, and I'm not. It's a principle behind it. Listen, I have one child from a previous marriage. You want to know why I only got one? Because I don't have another husband, and I only have enough money financially to take care of that one. I'm not about to go out here and have 3, 4 more kids and realize after the fourth or fifth kid that I can't sustain myself. So now I'm going to put on stage this pity party to where people can donate to me. At some point, it's a choice. It's a choice. And I feel, and see, that's another thing. We perpetuate that and give money to that instead of somebody telling that young lady or telling young ladies, hey, this is not what we need to be doing. No, we're not going to do that. There are places where you can go for help, but you continuously to have these kids, multiple kids, and then you can run to the internet for people to come and save you. But then people do that, so you continue to keep having kids and continue to keep doing this pity party. I don't like that. You can cook all day long, but when it turns into a pity party, I have a problem with that. Now, am I saying that people don't go through hard times? Absolutely not. People are going through hard times right now. Even people with good jobs, even people that are solidified in a two-parent household, or whether boyfriend, girlfriend, shacking up, whatever. It's getting hard for everybody. But I don't like the sympathy. I don't like it when a person makes a decision on their own free will, and the detriment turns into the sympathy card. And I'm seeing a lot of that, and it's all these sympathetic comments instead of someone saying, "Hey, enough is enough. Where do you got 7, 8 kids? Where the kids dead at? Now it's a difference. Let's say it was 1962 and you got married and you had 9 kids from your husband and he just ran off and left you. Now that's something totally different. But to not be wed, to not be married, to not solidify a family, and you just having baby after baby after baby after baby after baby after baby, I have a problem with that.
Well, I mean, I was criticized for saying that, we shouldn't check women out loud, but I think that's one of the issues. I mean, we talk about men and what men should do, but I mean, I'm being honest, I don't think we check women out loud. I think that's why you see that. It's okay. I think we inherently think I think the thought is that women are inherently good all the time and that someone else has corrupted them. That they're not corrupted on their own, they don't make poor decisions. It's always someone else's fault. So we want to give them pity and sympathy. Even as all these words that I just said, someone will be throwing thumb down. Like they will just hate what I just said. And so what happens is that poor behavior continues. We make it look cool. It's not uncommon for women to actually get on this app and say, "Hey, I got 3, 4 kids from 2, 3 different men. I'm still supposed to have a husband. God gonna send me somebody." As if maybe he didn't make any attempts previous. There's just always this idea and concept that, collectively all women, no matter what race, is that they just aren't doing anything wrong. So that's kind of why you see that, and it's acceptable. On the flip, if you see men doing this, or if you see men acting out of behavior, we all, no matter whether it's women or men, I think society, we collectively will look at a man and go, "You're sorry,"
Right.
or we want to correct him, or we will chasten him in a way that women just typically don't get. So you have all these different challenges. And I mean, it's the same thing that's just really going on. This is why the dating conversation is so popular now, because I think the collective women have collectively said, "Hey, why can't I have somebody? Or why can't I maintain somebody? Why can't I keep somebody? What's going on? I need to be informed. I need to change. Maybe they need to change." All these different conversations are coming up. And then you see, shit like, first off, I'm going to just say this. No matter the gender, I think that you have to be accountable for your own actions.
Mm-hmm.
You have to recognize poor behavior and you need to correct that. And what
Mm-hmm.
happened to just keeping shit private? I don't think everything's not for social media. Nothing need, I would be quite embarrassed. Even, I'm glad I have all my children with one woman. But if I didn't, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable saying that. It's cringy to be like, "Oh, I have 4 kids, 5 kids by 3 different women," And so because I'm not going to even say the majority, but I think quite a few of us in our community, that's the case, and so we're a little bit embarrassed by that. I think we're triggered by that when it happens. But I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you, and I don't care who calls me misogynist out there or talks about me. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's nothing new to see here. Many of my opinions haven't changed, but it's just because that behavior we need to bring shame back. Let's bring shame back. Let's shame poor behavior, poor ideology. That's what we need to do. But that's our time. We're gonna end on shame. We're gonna be having some more conversations this week. We got another show. Y'all can catch 7:30 p.m. CST. We're gonna be live, YouTube, Facebook, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So hey, don't forget to like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Show us some love, man. Y'all know y'all tune into the Charm Hour where we having uncomfortable, controversial conversations all the time. That's our time. We love y'all. Peace.
Oh, Charm Guy.